Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Unfiltered Feed, episode 4. And as we had promised last time, we are back, but with a special episode. So, before we introduce you to our idea for the week, let Yash introduce himself and talk about his week. How was it?
Hello everyone. Hello Ved. It has been a great week. It's only the start. Today is just the second day, but already it's been quite eventful for me for a lot of reasons, which I'll reveal in due course of time. But I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well as well.
Yes, perfectly fine over here. So, um, as you know, our typical format since the start of the podcast has been to cover news from various uh, different topics, mostly the ones that we enjoy watching or following. But we thought to give it a break this week and instead play a kind of a game. So the name of the game is Will You Choose? So I'll just give a brief explanation and then you can chip in with your example as well.
Yeah,
So what we're going to do is uh, give each other a few scenarios related to cricket because we're just exploring this idea. So we'll stick to our strength for now. So we'll give each other some cricket scenarios and uh, ask each other what they think and will they choose that option. So basically, each option comes with a caveat. So you have to think, balance out if the option is better with the caveat or you don't want it. So I think an example will make things clear. So would you like to
yeah,
give an example?
yeah, sure. But before that, I from our discussion, I kind of understood that this game is choosing between two options and which one would you like to compromise? So here's an example. So the example is, do you want MI to win the IPL in 2026, but Rohit to retire after that? Or would you prefer to have MI not win the IPL for the next 5 years, but Rohit to play in each of those editions? So these are two options. Which one would you choose based on what you like more? Do you want Rohit Sharma to keep playing, or do you want Mumbai Indians to win the trophy?
Yeah, I think that is pretty close to what I had imagined. Uh,
Yeah.
what I would have done was uh, basically give frame it as am I to win the next five trophies, but Rohit retires, and then would you choose it?
Okay, that makes
So it's
sense.
the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but the question that I came up with for this edition is a bit different because I basically have two options and you have to choose
Uh,
one option and give your logic for that. But that automatically means that you won't choose the other option. So it's
yeah.
almost the same thing.
So we can I'll give my questions in this format, and you can give yours in your format. It
Sure.
won't really matter. So let us kick things off with one of your questions.
Okay, this is very interesting. So I have five questions. You can pick a number and I'll ask you that question.
Okay. Let's go with number three.
Number three, that's great. Okay, so here is my initial question, and if you need some more context, I have it ready as well.
Mm,
So you're the captain of a team that has reached the ICC Cricket World Cup final, which is happening at the Melbourne Cricket Ground,
mm.
and you have won the toss. Are you going to bat first or bowl first? And let me provide the context as well for you so that it's easier. Let's assume that Australia isn't playing the final, so there's no home advantage or home support.
Mm,
Let's say it's India versus England. So both teams are equally supported or hated in Australia. And
mm.
since it's MCG, I don't think there's a lot of dew factor as well. So the pitch will mostly stay the same. So considering all that, would you bat first or bowl first?
Um, it's all, it's a very difficult question to answer. I think, uh, on a personal note, I would always prefer batting first because I feel chasing brings added pressure, which can be avoided by batting first. And I think it just sets the tone because when you're batting and if you have even a decent start, you are always mentally you have the edge. That's what I feel. Whereas when you're bowling first and the opponent gets up to a good start, it's very easy to go morally down very early, and that can have a very bad impact. I've seen bowling first working as well, but batting first almost always has to be the safer option. So I would go with that.
Yeah, I also agree with you. I would have batted first as well because this is a pretty interesting comparison that I have. If you look at MS Dhoni and every single toss
Mm,
that he's won in crucial games, he always likes to bowl first because according to him, it
yeah,
gives his team a better opportunity to read the pitch and to assess the conditions. But if you look at Rohit Sharma as a captain, he's always batted first in every single big game that he has captained. And his philosophy is just like yours, where if you set up a score on the board, then it's added pressure and the other team has to do it. And this has worked because
yeah,
Mumbai Indians have defended really modest totals in finals. So I think both the options are right in their own way, but I would have batted first as well.
yeah. And I think I've heard Rohit Sharma speak in a few interviews as well, where he says that when you're defending a total, you have the peace of mind that you already have made those runs, whereas the opposition are going to have to make the runs. So
Yeah.
that's what uh, gives you the edge. So I agree with him. And also, I feel format can play a role as well. In ODIs, it's a bit more straightforward to win the toss and bat first. But in T20s, you might think of bowling first as an option, mostly because of the external conditions. But yeah, in T20s, it has a it is more balanced. But I think in ODIs, batting first is a pretty straightforward option.
All right. That's great. And I also have a quick fact for you. I think the last few India-Pakistan games, except the one that happened in the recent World Cup, all of them were won by the teams that were batting first. So that's another
Yeah,
advantage of doing that.
and India-Pakistan is generally considered to be a high-pressure game, so that
Yeah.
explains our point.
So you can kick off your first question now.
Yeah, so I'll steal your idea and you can give me a number, so I'll give that question.
And I believe you have 7 questions for me.
Yeah.
So I'll go with number 7.
Oh, I think that's one of the toughest questions. So the seventh one is Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli retire after winning the 2027 World Cup. So they get a farewell with the
Hmm.
trophy. But India never win a trophy again in their entire future.
Oh, that's really difficult. Because on one side, I don't really think I'll be following Indian cricket as much once Virat and Rohit retire.
Mm.
But on the other hand, I obviously want India to win, being an Indian. Is this across formats or just in the ODI World Cup, you mean?
Across formats, not a single trophy.
I think I would like to I would like to not see Virat and Rohit win in that case because if it was just the
Mm.
ODI format, I wouldn't mind because if Rohit and Virat won the World Cup together, that would have been much bigger. But since this is across formats, I would prefer to see India being successful, and I think they will be. So I'll go with the second option.
Okay, that's a interesting choice because I thought you would uh, go towards Rohit and Kohli getting a grand farewell because I can see the declining interest in cricket in you, but good to see that it's still alive. I think as a cricket fan, even I would have chosen that because India is obviously bigger than two individuals playing for
Yeah.
India, so it makes sense.
And secondly, they have won a lot of trophies recently. They won the T20 World
Yeah.
Cup, the Champions Trophy. So it's not like they haven't won anything. And I think if the question was that India wouldn't win a ODI World Cup ever, I think I still would
Mm.
have gone with Virat and Rohit winning. But since this is across formats, I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, and I think Kohli has already won all the trophies that he could, so
Yeah,
he wouldn't mind it. But Rohit Sharma obviously wants to win the ODI World Cup, but still
that's true.
it can't come at the cost of India going winless.
So now can I
Okay,
present my second question?
yes.
Pick your number.
Um, number three. Yeah, number
You
five.
picked number five. This is honestly my favorite question because this is going to irritate you, and I'm going to see the most irritated version of Ved. So the question is, you have become a commentator and a famous commentator in the world, and you get to commentate on one of these two scenarios. The first scenario is
Okay.
commentating on Virat Kohli's 100th century with Harsha Bhogle and Sunil Gavaskar, or commentating Rohit Sharma's fourth double hundred with Ian Bishop and Michael Holden. What would you pick?
I think, oh my God. Uh, So for those who are looking for context here, let me just give it to you. Harsha Bhogle, Sunil Gavaskar and me, we don't go well together for multiple reasons, but mainly for their absolutely garbage and needless comments in when it comes to spontaneous talking. They might have good opinions, but on the spot they're horrible. So I think if I am commentating with them, I could just take the lead and try to make the moment more interesting because, of course, Kohli's 100th would be a once in a lifetime moment, and it would be a privilege if I was covering it. But
But
then,
would you get to cover it? That's the question with Harsha Bhogle in
yeah,
the commentary box.
he likes to hog the mic, especially when Kohli is playing. So can't rule out me just staring at him talking. So Rohit Sharma's fourth double hundred is also a big achievement, but it's not a record breaking or record matching kind of a moment because he already holds the record. So it would just be another great moment in his career. But Bishop and Holding are also very interesting. Somehow this is harder than the last one for me. I think purely as a Kohli fan, I would go with the 100th 100 with Harsha Bhogle and Sunil Gavaskar and just pray that Harsha's mic goes off or he has some spontaneity masterclass on that particular moment. And Gavaskar, of course, the first thing he'll be thinking about would be Sachin's record and not Kohli is getting to that. So he won't be a problem. So I think I can handle it.
That's a fair call. I expected you to find it really tough, but I thought that you would pick the first one, and you did that.
My love for Kohli overshadows a few thorns in the way. Yeah, that was a very interesting one.
Yeah,
So now you pick a number.
let's go with number two.
Number two, here it is. IPL returns to Sony, but there is no Gaurav Kapoor in extra innings.
That's a very tricky question, but I think it's also there are a few questions that I have. If there's no Gaurav Kapoor, then
Hmm.
will it be someone from Star Sports coming as the host, or will it be someone else?
The rest of the extra innings team will still be there. Uh, that is Samir Kochar, I think, and those female hosts, and of course, one of them, I think, Shibani Dandekar,
I think so, yeah.
and all the experts from Crickbuzz Live, and like Ajay Jadeja, Ashish Nehra, and all of them. But Gaurav Kapoor won't be there.
Okay, I think this is going to be very surprising for you, but I wouldn't take this because of two main
Oh.
reasons. First of all, if we have extra innings T20 without Gaurav Kapoor, this will mean that he is still at Crickbuzz. But if all the guests from Crickbuzz are at extra innings, then he will be left with no one, and or he'll be left with all the mediocre cricket experts. So I wouldn't accept this. I'm okay with having the show on Star Sports because I don't watch it. I only follow CricBuzz Live now, so it wouldn't make much of a difference to me. So I'll stay with the way it is right now. What would have you picked?
So you would, I think I would have gone with extra innings simply because the show associated with one of the biggest leagues, not just cricket leagues, one of the biggest leagues in the world. I don't think it can be as bad as Star presents it.
That's
And
fair.
so I think more for the image of IPL because after all, it is the official broadcast that we're talking about. So if it gets as close to Crickbuzz as possible, I think it would be better. Of course, I will miss Gaurav Kapoor, but I think whoever he talks with, he can still do something and he can get even those boring, opinionless people to giggle and talk well. We have seen that in the extra innings for, I think, the India versus England series, which is going on. He and I think I should mention this for those who are a fan of extra innings, they are posting clips of that on their YouTube channel, on Sony Sports Network's YouTube channel.
Wow.
So I was catching up on that, and I think one of the hosts is the famous freelancer Vimal Kumar. I don't know how he ended up there, but he's one of the experts on extra innings. Yeah, so off topic, but I think he can manage it, and I would rather have a 100 times better show uh, just before the match and after the match.
That's fair. And I agree with you, yeah.
Yeah, so that was a good one.
Now, time for my third
Now,
question. I think you have used number three and number five, so you have to pick something else now.
number one.
Okay. I think this is a pretty open-ended, but I think for you it should be quite easy. Uh,
Hmm.
you are given two choices to watch a cricket match at a stadium. Which one are you picking? Are you picking watching India versus Australia at MCG or India versus England at Lords?
Oh, ah. So, which format specifically,
This is a
or it
test
doesn't
match.
matter? Uh, I think India versus Australia is a Boxing Day test, so the atmosphere would be really good. But Lord's Test has its own beauty. So I think both are very iconic, but I would prefer the one in which India has a better chance of competing and winning because at the end I'll be there as an Indian supporter. So I think I'll go slightly towards the Lord's Test. Both will be a very, very, I think, incredible experience to watch both the games, but India's chances would be better at Lord's. So I would pick Lord's Test. I don't want to say no to MCG, but yeah, I have to go with Lord's.
That's a very good call. You and I would have done the same because if you go to watch a test, you at least want your team to do well. And as you
Yeah.
said, India has a much better chance of doing well at Lords than MCG.
And I think for some reason I feel watching a test match in such a big ground, uh, where the ball will hardly come to you. I think in T20s or even ODIs, it's okay if you get because you'll be farther away from the action. So if the ball is consistently coming and landing in your area, then it's fun. But I think test matches would be more fun and where you are closer to the action, so you can
Yeah.
experience it better. So in that way as well, I feel Lords would be a better option.
Initially, for this question, I also had a third option, which was watching India versus England or India Australia at Wankhede, but I think that doesn't stand a chance in your opinion, right?
Yeah, I think nothing against the ground, but it's just the facilities, and BCCI have a lot of work to do there. I was recently watching or reading an article of the experience at Lord's, and there you can basically, when it's lunchtime, you can go out of the stadium and go to a nearby cafe or do anything you want, and you can come back and you won't be cross-questioned like a criminal, and you won't have to stand in long queues. You have the freedom to do whatever you want with your ticket. As long as you show it, you can enter again. And I think you can even transfer your ticket. So if you have like a group of five friends and two of them, you have two tickets. So two can watch the first session, go out, pass the ticket on to the other two, and they can come and watch the afternoon session. So the one who's coming doesn't matter. They should just be two people for two tickets. That's all that they check. So I think such liberty you can't get in India. So
Fair enough.
just for the hassle-free experience.
Let's move to your third question now.
Yes.
I think I've picked number two and seven, if I'm not wrong.
2 and 7, yeah.
So now I'll go for number four.
Number 4, and this is specifically targeted at you, and it is MS Dhoni retires from IPL, but CSK win the next three trophies.
Mm. Watching MS Dhoni play this year was really difficult. Even though I'm not a CSK fan, just being a Dhoni fan, it was so difficult to see him struggle and then get blamed by CSK fans as well. But at the same time, watching CSK win the next three titles will be a lot difficult because one, they'll go ahead of MI in the number of trophies, plus all the CSK fans and my friends. they'll start literally bullying me online. So I wouldn't risk that. So I'll go with MS Dhoni to keep playing. It's fine. I don't think he'll last for 3 years, so let him just break down on the field. Although it will be sad to see it, but I cannot I cannot let CSK win 3 titles. That will be too bad.
To be honest, he broke down in 2020 and then stood up again, then broke down again in 2022 and he was back again. So the man doesn't break down, or it just gives us an illusion of breaking down.
Yeah. But to be very honest with you, in reality, if Dhoni was to leave CSK, I don't think they have a chance of winning the IPL because they are extremely reliant on him and his captaincy and all of his tactics. So he'll have to literally be like Ashish Nehra, who pretty much controls the game from outside. And I don't see MS Dhoni being that kind of a person who will want to keep giving information to the players during the game. So it will be very difficult for them to do well without him on the field.
Yeah, that's a valid point, and I think CSK, the management has understood that they need to start developing a younger team because for the first time, I think ever in CSK's history, we saw a lot of youngsters uh, coming into the team, and that too they had messed up in the auction, but they recovered themselves through injury replacements, which is very weird to say, but I think they got Urvil Brevis and
Matre.
Ayush Matre, so
Yeah.
a very good core is forming.
Yeah. I want to just chip in something that I heard from Joy Bhattacharya in the Crickbuzz Live season recap that happened a couple of months ago. And he was comparing KKR versus CSK. And he said that both the teams started off the season with a lot of question marks and a lot of uncertainties. But the difference between a title winning champion team versus, ironically, the defending champions is that CSK has ended the season, even though in the last place, they still have a lot of opportunities for the future. They have found, as you said, a new core. They've built, they have some young talents that they can build upon. Whereas for KKR, they still have the same questions that they started the season with. So they technically made zero progress. So that's quite interesting to see how CSK approached the season.
Yeah, I think even in their worst days, they still have some positives to take out. So, yeah, it was a good question.
Let's now go for my fourth question. I think you have picked three, four, sorry, three, five, and one. So you
One,
have two and three left. Two and four. Sorry.
two and four. I would go with number two.
This is again a very difficult question, and I think this is probably one of the toughest questions I've had.
Oh.
So let's say you're a cricketer and you're playing professional cricket, and you need to help your team win in the last over of the match, and you have two scenarios. Which scenario do you think would you succeed in? So the first scenario is defending 10 runs against a prime Virat Kohli. So from the 2016, 17, 18, 19 era. And the second scenario is chasing 10 runs against a prime Jasprit Bumrah.
Oh, I knew that was coming when you mentioned Virat. I think this has to be one of the toughest. Even keeping my bias aside, it's very difficult to pick a better player. I
And
think,
I think the answer, if you let's say you picked Kohli, it doesn't mean that you're devaluing Bumrah. You're just saying that it's easier or more likely to succeed.
yeah, I think Bumrah, even if I hit a six of the first ball, I can't guarantee scoring four of the next five. That's how good he is. And Kohli, uh, I think I feel I can have a better chance against Kohli because there's something I can play with. A couple of tricks that I can pull off, I think. But against Bumrah, you can't just do it for two or three balls and then relax. I think you have to have more skill when you're doing it against Bumrah. So I think I'll have a better chance defending 10 runs in front of Kohli. Though that is
Yeah, this
also very
is
tough, but
yeah, exactly.
comparatively.
This is a prime Virat Kohli that we're talking about, who has scored 973 runs in a single IPL season.
I think uh, I do not trust myself to pull off a chase against Bumrah at all. Like never ever possible for me because he's just too good. He has if his Yorker goes wrong, he'll nail three more in a row so that I can't score. But I think Kohli, I can get away with a couple. So I'm
That's true.
looking at myself as a professional bowler, not the like Ved bowling. So I think
Yeah,
as a bowler, I can get away even in front of prime Kohli. There are chances that I get away, but not in front of prime Bumrah.
that's a very fair assessment, and this interestingly also backs your answer to the first question, where you said you would always like to bat first and set a total. So this is what you're doing here. You're making Kohli chase instead of chasing against Bumrah.
Yeah, chase masters, but still I think he can bring it up to 10 and 6, 100 out of 100 times. But chasing that, there's more chance for me to succeed.
That's fair. Yeah, I believe this was the toughest question. So if I was
Yeah,
asked this, I probably wouldn't have an answer. It's really difficult to pick.
just highlights the class of these two and how lucky or fortunate India are that they had these two. Their primes didn't quite coincide, otherwise we would have won a couple of trophies under Kohli as well. But still, very amazing couple of players.
That's true. So do you want to make this as your last question, or would you like to have one more after this?
I think we can have one more.
Okay. So I think what are the options that I have now for you from your questions?
You have 1, 3, 5, and 6.
Okay. So let me go for number six.
Number 6, and it is tri-series are relevant again, but all of them are played in Dubai.
Oh, oh. For context, let me tell the viewers that I am a big fan of Tri Series, and whenever they used to happen, I always enjoyed watching those games because it was much more interesting than bilateral series.
Mhm.
But having them in Dubai is a big question. Uh, I think I would still welcome Tri Series because I feel it's still a lot more interesting than just playing 5 matches in a row against the same team. And Dubai, I feel, is still a pretty good venue. They can definitely work on their pitches, but in terms of the facilities and the fan atmosphere, I think it's a nice venue. So I wouldn't mind playing Tri Series in Dubai. But I would definitely want tri-series cricket to come back, especially those iconic ones like India, Australia, and England when they played in Australia once, or even the ones that happened in India once. I think we had Sri Lanka, India, and Bangladesh, if I'm not wrong. So
Nidas.
those Nidas Trophy, yeah. So I would want those to come back for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a valid judgment. And I think the perception of the Dubai Stadium has been slightly put off because of the fact that most of the games were played during COVID there. So
Yeah,
the ground was empty. So people have that perception that there are soulless, dull games that happen in Dubai. But
yeah,
I think we have, when it's not COVID and there are no restrictions, I think we have also had a couple of tournaments with good crowds, and that significantly lifts the experience as a viewer. Of
yeah,
course, there's still the dew factor and the pitches that are slow and tired, but it's level playing field for everyone, and it's not that a single team will get undue advantage. So I think try series would be interesting in Dubai. I agree with
yeah. That was a nice question. So now let's go to my
you.
final question for you. And this, I
Yes.
think, is the easiest of the lot, especially for you, being a cricket fan.
Oh,
So the question goes like this. You are a player for the Indian national team and you have been
yes.
selected, but the coach is myself or our dad, who is a big fan of
Oh,
having one format players. So each player will get to choose which format they want to play for. And they get to pick only that one format and they won't be considered for any other format, irrespective of how good they are. So which format would you pick? Would you want to play as an Indian ODI player, Test player, or a T20 player? And I just want to remind you that Test cricket is dwindling, so you might want to consider that, but it's up to you and your passion.
I think in a heartbeat, I would choose Test cricket, uh, simply because of the commitment that it needs and the satisfaction that you get after doing well. But also when you're down, it can be a very bad experience. But I think overall, Test cricket, nothing gives you the level of fulfillment or satisfaction like Test cricket. So personally, I would choose that, but I can see why others would choose other formats. As you said, Test cricket is on the downfall, and I would also see people who just want money and want themselves to be associated with Indian cricket. They could also choose ODIs because you get to play less games, but still play for India, get the money, but you have to work lesser. But I don't see that any sportsman actively wanting to play lesser and get so ODIs no. T20s only specialists would choose T20s over Test cricket. That's what I feel. Anyone who's good at batting in general, has good technique, will most of the times choose Test cricket over T20. That's what I feel. But finishers or unorthodox bowlers, I think they'll be the only ones who will uh, go towards T20s. So I would always choose Test cricket, and yeah,
Yep, that's what I expected. I have a different take on this. I would choose T20 cricket because one, as you said, and you didn't say this, but I think you'll agree that T20 cricket is generally more exciting and more eventful than Test cricket. In Test matches, I think only the big tours, such as India, England, or India, Australia, tend to be exciting. And even in those stores, maybe one or two games are really exciting, and the others are usually modestly eventful. But in T20 cricket, there's a lot of action. Plus, I am a big fan of the IPL. So for being to be
Mhm.
considered for an IPL team, I would have a better chance if I was a T20 player for India rather than a Test player. But that's again solely what I think. But knowing you and your passion for the game, I've definitely expected you to choose Test cricket.
Yeah, I think one analogy that I can give is that Test cricket is like the YouTube of social media. So whenever a creator does well on uh, social media platforms like Instagram or TikTok or any other for that matter, their first thought is to become a YouTuber, and because that is a stable source of income and that is where you get the most recognition. So not talking about source of income, but to compare, I think Test cricket is the ultimate dream for the most passionate cricketers. Surely, you don't have to choose Test cricket to show your passion. Even T20 is a good format, but Test cricket has its different place. So that's what I feel most, even the T20 players would like to have their name remembered as a good Test cricketer. But just because they can't do that, that's why they prefer T20. That's what I feel. I might be wrong, but that's just my take.
Yeah, that's a very fair take. I agree with you. So now, the last
Yeah.
question from your side.
Yes. Your options are number three and number five and number six.
I picked six. I think
Yeah.
number one is left.
Sorry, number one.
Okay, so I started this show with number seven, so I'll end it with number one.
Okay. This is, I think, a very interesting question. Uh, Home and away jerseys are introduced in IPL, but everyone changed their current colors. So the team can't pick the colors that they have now. Everyone will have to change their iconic colors or whatever. But they introduce home and away jerseys from next year.
That's a very difficult question to answer because personally for me, I only care about the Mumbai Indians jersey. So unless Mumbai is picking a really stupid color like let's say green or purple or even red, I think I would be happy to have home and away jerseys because I think the IPL, it's a high time that they introduce this, especially when they are competing to be some of the one of the biggest leagues in the world. They should at least adopt home and away jerseys. And secondly, the number of teams that wear blue, it's a joke because
Yeah,
you've got Lucknow Super Giants, you've got Mumbai Indians, you've got Delhi Capitals. To an extent, RR used to have blue. Luckily, they moved away from it. But you have these three teams who
mm,
have pretty much the same shade of blue, so it's really difficult to
and even
distinguish.
Gujarat Titans are not far.
Yeah, they also have a shade of blue. So it's a high time that they bring home and away jerseys, but on one condition that Mumbai don't pick a really stupid color. If they go with something that's sensible, I think I would be a big fan of home and away jerseys.
Yeah, I think it is a very interesting choice to make because I think a few teams like the orange of SRH or the yellow of CSK, they have become a part of their campaigns or a part of their identity. So it would be very weird to see them in different colors. But then home and away jerseys, it's now or never kind of a position for them because you cannot have a serious league having two teams in blue playing against each other. And especially when there's no added logistical expense or any of those like major expense. It's just a jersey, so you can do that. So I think that was a very interesting question, and I agree with you. If as long as your team doesn't have a very absurd color, I think home and away jerseys have way more importance.
Yeah, and secondly, it also gives the teams some more chance of, let's say, being in the limelight because they can launch two different jerseys, so they get more views. Plus, fans will tend to buy both the jerseys, so that's some more added revenue for these teams. Even if it doesn't make a lot of difference, it's still some more money for them.
Yeah, and I think the only team that really did this ever was RCB back in 2016 and 17, where they had red, majorly red for home games and majorly black for away games. But then, of course, BCCI couldn't see it and couldn't see someone do use their brains, so they had to ban it, which I didn't know. I thought RCB just moved on from that concept, but they were this idea was banned by BCCI, which is
Oh,
even more weird to see. And secondly, I think now that they are allowing teams to have a one-off jersey for special occasions, why not just bring that as an away jersey? It would make so much more sense.
yeah, that's true. And I think they should at least, if they don't want to allow away jerseys, they should at least make teams wear their one-off jerseys during games where they are facing teams with a same jersey color as them. Because this was similar in the World Cup in 2019. They made India wear an orange jersey because they were playing England, who also had a blue jersey. Because in the IPL, if I'm not wrong, other than other than maybe Chennai, Hyderabad, every other team has a one-off jersey. Maybe not KKR as well, but most of the other teams do have these one-off jerseys
Yeah,
that are actually pretty good. So they should at least force that when they're playing teams with the same colored jerseys as them.
yeah, that would make more sense, and that is the need of the hour. So I think it was a very interesting special episode, and we hope you enjoyed this because we want to keep coming up with such cool ideas and have such interactive sessions in between because only news can also get a bit boring after a while. So this is
Yeah,
a good way for us to refresh ourselves and have fun in the meantime.
yeah, it was really nice. Your questions were absolutely amazing. I'm actually looking forward to knowing the two questions that I missed, but I hope you liked my questions as well.
Yeah, I think the questions were very good and there were no easy questions. So that is what added to the fun. So you can go on and do this with your friend group as well and give us feedback if you enjoyed it.
Yeah,
You might have enjoyed listening to it, but I'm sure you would enjoy it even more when you are playing it with your mates. So
yeah.
yeah,
And if you have any opinions on these questions, feel free to drop your answers in the comments. But now, before we wrap up this session, I just wanted to get a view from you about what's coming up in this week in the world of sports and maybe cricket as well.
yeah. So of course it's the big fourth test between India and England that is coming up. As we record, it is tomorrow, but by the time we upload, I think it's on the same day. So it's a very important game for India. They're 2-1 down in the series, and a lot of injuries have started to plug into the squad. Nitish Reddy is out, Akashdeep, Arshdeep, they too are injured as well, and all signs point towards uh, Anshul Kamboj making his debut. So it'll be interesting to see what India go with. And also on the back of a few heated discussions in the middle in the last test, I think it's going to be even more entertaining.
Yeah. In the world of Formula One as well, there's the Belgium Grand Prix that's happening this weekend. So hopefully for the next podcast, we'll have something to talk about that as well.
Yeah, and as we have been noticing, Formula One is very well received on the internet, and that is what is keeping our views intact with our expectations. So good to see the sport grow because considering most of our viewers are in India, it's good to see F1 growing in India as well.
Yes. So I think with that, we can wrap up this session. It was a nice session. And this was, I think, one of my favorite podcasts that we've had so far. So I think we
Yes.
should keep this as a regular and maybe every 3, 4 episodes we come up with a special.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan to me. So until next time, keep tracking. Stay safe. This is Wade signing off.
Bye.